Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have with us a longtime fan from, going about at least a year. April Rutherford is with us. You can catch her on Naturally April. She streams live right on Facebook. Get readings using tarot, dowsing rods, pendulum, oracle cards. Amazing talent, really connected with nature. We've really come to be close friends with her. You're going to enjoy this too. Everybody, April Rutherford is next. Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name is Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
That is right.
Then live to send the innocent to their death? Is this justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right, and everybody, so it's time we're going to welcome April to the show. So as our as our intro says, witch, confess your guilt.
I played the fifth.
Welcome to the show, April. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Yeah.
How are you?
So,
hi, Dana. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, it's like everybody. So everybody that normally sees her in the chat room, now you can see her live on the screen. Yeah. So this is, So we've talked about this. I'm not sure if you thought I was serious at all that at first when I told you to come. Wanted to have you on the show.
It was kind of like surreal, if I'm being honest, Craig. It was,
well, you flatter us.
I remember watching you guys back. I started probably watching you guys probably in September of maybe 20. I mean, it 20? It was 2020, I think, September 2020, I believe. And I watched one show and then I just continued to watch you guys because I thought it was fascinating. Like, I loved all the different topics. All the guests were just so incredible. So many humble people, but they're so talented and so smart. And so to feel like I was on that level, I didn't think that at all.
Okay.
So when we spoke and whatnot, and I just kind of shared with you a little bit of kind of my backstory. Mm-hmm. Hey, Mona. Hi, everybody. Thank you. When I shared a little bit of the backstory and you said about coming onto the show, I was just like, whoa, what just happened here? Like, I didn't expect that at all. If somebody had told me when I was watching you guys, watching all these amazing guests that you guys have on here, somebody would have told me this, 6 months ago or something, I don't think I would have believed that.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're happy to be here.
Amazing what time does, right?
It is.
A little bit of time.
And that's kind of just through the chat room, as we've been talking, it's like we got, through everything, we got more and more. And like I said, I started watching something when you did the live readings. I mean, I was, when you were part of another group, we won't bring that all up. No, we were watching those things, and then you came to your own and started your own page, started doing readings there. So how is that going for you now? I mean, do you feel like you're actually growing pretty good, or is it?
I do. Right. It was another group, and it was for free or donated readings and whatnot. And I don't know what happened. If I'm just being 1,000%, I don't know what happened. One day I woke up and I just wasn't in there. I asked them and I didn't get any response. So I was just kind of like, no, the heck with this. Like, I was helping people. Like, I had people coming and watching me and coming back and watching me, I was able to help them. Like, I felt like they cut me off from them. That's wrong, and for no reason. So that's when it was just kind of like, I already have this, this little page of my own, Naturally April, for my jewelry making with crystals, natural crystals and whatnot that have healing properties and different energies and so much beautiful things to them. And it was like, I have this page and I hadn't been very active on it because of the pandemic. Who was active with their small business during the pandemic? Not too many. So it was kind of like, okay, so I was doing readings live in this other page and it was going pretty good. And now I don't have a place, but I do. I just didn't want to bombard my page, my Facebook personally, people that were friends with me personally. I didn't want to bombard them going live. So that's when I decided I'll just use my page and I will kind of give a bit of a heads up, I guess, to everybody and let them know, like, hey, like, things are changing a little bit around here. Like, I'm going to be doing some different stuff. Like, I will still be making jewelry. I will make anything, get a hold of me. But the cards and the readings is what I was being pulled to do. So I knew I just had to start doing it there.
Yeah. And that's, so I know, because there's a lot of people, unfortunately, it's all about money. I mean, it's high. And I have a deck you can see over this shoulder that is almost a prime example, but it's my Miss Cleo's tarot deck. Yes. And so, the Psychic Friends Network, if that doesn't epitomize the readings for profit, but that was from the late night staying up, and it was always Miss Cleo's Psychic Network.
Miss Cleo, she was entertaining though, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm. I
mean, we got to give her that much. At the very least, she was entertaining. Miss Cleo, call me now. $1 a minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was something like, it was $1 a minute, but it was like, it was one of those. I think the biggest complaint was how they strung out the readings.
Yeah,
they made it wasn't like a quick reading. It was just like, the spirits are telling me this, and you're just the whole time cha-ching, cha-ching.
I was going to say, that's what I had always heard was, you'd call and you'd end up waiting for 20 minutes and you're paying for every one of those minutes. And then when she'd get on, it was like that. So unfortunately it is like that for a lot of people. I'm
waiting for the spirits to come to me.
But, do you think that hurt like the real people? I mean, I'm going to say, I don't know too much about Miss Cleo. Do you think that really like hurt true people that do that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it like, oh yeah, I believe this. You just like.
Are you asking if I think that Miss Cleo is real?
Yeah, well, like you said, like, I'm waiting for the spirits and money, and then people are like, oh, it's just a waste of money.
Listen, okay, so here's my kind of take on that. Okay, I'm not saying that these people don't have abilities and that they aren't connected in ways and whatnot. Some of them are pretty accurate too. But I like to remind people, darkness is just as old as light, okay? Even older, some say. A lot of people believe that we come from the dark into the light, okay? So with that being said, dark things can also give people information that's just as accurate to make them go big, have lots of people come to them, trust them. But when the greed starts going to their head, when they start doing it for the money and the money alone, that is not good. That's not good karmically. Because in that sense, this is a God-given gift, okay? And it's not a gift that's given to you from God only for the people that are rich enough that can afford help from you. That's not right. I do think that, it is reasonable to charge, you know what I mean, for your time and your energy, because do trust a lot goes into some of this sometimes. And sometimes it does get kind of tiring and whatnot. But to say something along the lines of, if you donate, money to me, that will give me energy and I'll be able to do the reading.
Yeah, if that wasn't like classic, church, from the early church too. It's just like put coins in the box, and we can assure that your family will be saved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
I agree.
No, so like a lot of people, when you're doing a reading, you've got, take whatever deck of cards, you bring out the cards. I know you start out with, with a blessing, I know you start your show out there calling in just, to focus, but what is it that, best trying to figure out the best way to phrase it, but what is it that like there's like a trigger that says, I know this is the one, like when you're seeing the card, you're like, okay, Chassie, I know this one is for you.
So for example, okay, I'll go ahead and shuffle these up real quick. Okay. So for me, the way I started it is I actually laid the cards out. Like I laid them out in front of me. I took my hands. Ooh, that one actually flew out. Hold up.
Oh.
It actually.
Empress.
Close. High Priest.
Oh wow! See that.
Intend and create. That's right. Make it happen. Just like that.
Nice.
Okay. I love this deck. This deck never lets me down. This is my go-to before even the tarot deck. Okay, so I'll shuffle it up.
Those cards look like they're 4 times the size of your hand.
I have like.
Faster because she's short. Gee.
No, I'm like watching her shuffle, and it feels like almost like you're doing this deck of just this incredible amount. It's like crazy.
This is a normal size deck of cards. So yeah, you're not wrong there, Craig. I do have like freakishly small hands. They're really small. So that's why I have to shuffle them long ways, I guess.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh yeah, no, it was just the camera angle, the way it was. It looked like it almost looked like notebook paper.
With these, I had to figure out ways to shuffle. I have a deck even bigger than this. That's a tarot deck. My angel tarot deck, and this thing shuffling is insane. Like I take my time. Like I'm not, and if I'm being messy and it falls, that's not a jumper. That was me being messy, and it's going back in the deck, and I will pull the one that I'm supposed to pull. But I would lay the cards out in front of me, right, and then I would take my hands over them, and it was like. Some people would say they'll get like a tingle in their finger or a ringing in their ear or something. That's what I started to notice first, was the ringing that I would get in my ear above anything else. It's usually a ringing, but sometimes I like to point it out. Sometimes it's not a ringing, it's like a muffling. I like to compare it to like when you're going up a mountain or you're in an airplane and the altitude changes and you get that pressure in your ear. Okay. I'll feel that pressure. Okay. And then sometimes I'm shuffling and I just hear stop. So I just stop, but it's usually, the feeling of the pressure or a ringing in my ear. So I shuffle them up and going and broken arrow, embrace the energies of peace. This card symbolizes that there is nothing to fear. If there's anything going on in your life that's got you worried, got you up in arms, the arrow was reverenced as a symbol of protection and defensiveness and tribes going to war. So the broken arrow is symbolization of peace and a treaty and happiness. Oh my gosh, there's another card on the floor.
Yeah.
That is That's great. That's great. It's one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. She-Wolf.
No. Oh,
Unleash the Wild Within. This card is saying basically just that. You do what comes naturally, and you do it to the best of your abilities, and don't be afraid if you have to veer from the crowd, from the pack,
nice.
and be a little different, because you're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be the same, you know? Who else feels the ear pressure? Jassy does. Jassy feels ear pressure.
Yeah, Dana was I feel an electrical pulse.
Sometimes, yeah, electrical. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. When some people say they'll get like a tingle in their finger and stuff. Sometimes I'm like actually like flipping through the cards, and it's almost like my finger doesn't want to move off of a card. It's not that it gets stuck; it's that it doesn't want to move. Like the Shaolin Master, stuck and slow and patient. It says, be graceful in movement and action. The description on this card actually talks about patience and taking your time and slowing down and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. So
yes.
It's just everybody learns different. It's different for every person. What works for me might not be the same for Craig or Chassie or Dana or anybody else, you know? Everybody's kind of got their own thing.
I like Chassie's thing. The card will just fall out like I told, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
They do too.
So,
they call me out.
We don't want to clickbait too much here, so we titled this "Turning Struggles into Blessings."
Yes.
So, where do you want to start with a story? I mean, it's you gave me quite the rundown, you know, with that conversation. So it's like,
right.
I don't think we have time for the whole thing.
So, I think the main thing that I want to kind of stress, I guess, I don't know how, like, lack of better words, stress with this is I went for over half of my life almost feeling like I had like some severe mental health issues. Okay. I did undoubtedly struggle with postpartum depression after my children. What eventually ended up happening was the chemical imbalances and the hormonal imbalances in my body created spiritual imbalances that were actually already kind of there because I had been blocking everything since childhood. I had always been able to feel and sense when there was stuff around. I would go to bed at night asking to not be bothered with, you know, I know you're here. Please, I don't want to see you. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to feel you. Just please let me alone. I was terrified. So I pushed it down. I pushed it down as long as I could. And it was like, kind of like, as soon as I kind of like dropped my guard, like when I moved out, I grew up, I moved out, I thought things were good. All of a sudden, like, all kinds of crazy stuff was happening. And of course, I'd had the baby, had postpartum depression. So I thought, okay, well, this is anxiety. This is normal. This happens. But then it, you know, kind of came and went. Okay. And then I had my son, and the postpartum depression came back, but he was probably almost 2 years old. So it was odd, because usually that happens like kind of almost immediately or shortly after, within a few months. With my daughter, it was within like the first year. With Logan, it was within the first 2 years. But I ended up committing myself to the hospital because I knew something was wrong. I need medication. Something is wrong. I've had postpartum depression before. I need to get checked. Now, at this point, I hadn't started to see orbs and such energies, like with my vision and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I went to the hospital, and you know, they put me on medications. I did tell them at one point that I hear stuff sometimes, like people saying my name or something. And you'd see them writing it on their pads and okay, up this medication, up that one. Here, we're going to add this one. It got to the point where I wasn't living. I was just alive, you know? Like it was just,
Yeah.
I was just waking up, doing what had to be done and going to bed. Sorry. And it's like, it's kind of like I almost want to say a shameful time in my life, but I can't be ashamed of it because it wasn't something that I had control over. I knew I was struggling, and at one point then it was like, take me to the hospital, but then they, the meds they would just continue to up them and whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't understand how I can be on this many medications and I'm still, I go to the store feeling okay. And then, for whatever reason, I'd be standing next to somebody and it was like, I could feel their anger. I could feel their frustration and stuff. And before I knew it, I'm standing there looking at them and I'm just like, ew, like I'm in a mood then, because I was like catching their vibes. I don't know how else to put it. Like I could feel that and I didn't know that. So for a long time, like
It's almost like a psychic chameleon.
I didn't know how to block it. I didn't know how to block those feelings from other people and other energies. And then something amazing happened. My mom and sister, they set up an appointment to go see the only person who I really would consider a mentor to me. Her name's Stephanie. Her name was Stephanie Rice. It's now Stephanie. Oh, I'm afraid to even try to pronounce it. She might get mad at me. But I'm gonna link her. I'm gonna tag her down here. So
all right, well, let's go with Stephanie for now. There we go.
Stephanie is the person within 5 minutes of being with her. She's a reader, okay, but she doesn't read cards. She just speaks to the spirits and she talks to you, and she's really phenomenal. She's unbelievable. Within 5 minutes of being in her home, she was asking me if I was okay because she could pick up on my energy. Long story short, she ended up kind of mentoring me to a degree because she taught me to shield myself, okay, which is so important. She taught me how to shield myself so I wasn't absorbing all the energies around me from everybody else, and that wasn't affecting my moods, because she was the very first person in my life to look at me and say, and this was so profound that to this day, I feel like I owe her my life to a degree. She was the first person to look at me and say, your imbalances aren't chemical or in your brain and physical, they're spiritual. And when she said that, it was like I had like goosebumps from head to toe. Like I knew, like it made sense. It made sense as to why none of the medications worked and why nothing was working, no matter what cocktail they decided to put me on or what new medication, new and improved came out. It wasn't good enough. It was because it wasn't something that could be fixed like that. She did some work on me. I took some classes with her to learn how to shield myself. She gave me the confidence I needed to trust what I was picking up on, my intuition and stuff. Okay. Had it not been for Stephanie, kind of calling me out, like at her house, like, cause she was just like, you see stuff, like you have abilities and stuff. And I was just like, I do. I think
this is where it kind of takes even ramps up even more from here is when she says what she believes your abilities.
Yeah. I mean, she just like, she doesn't, it was like, she doesn't, it was just like, speaking with Stephanie, I went for my first class, or I guess with her, lesson. First time meeting up with her, and it went so great and so smoothly. And after that, she was just kind of like, I was told to take you straight to the water next time. There was certain stuff that she usually just does. And she said there was certain stuff they were telling her just to pass, just take her to the water for whatever reason. And water energizes people, empaths. It helps to cleanse us and energize our energy, right? It's that natural flow, that natural ebb and flow of the water, right? So while we were in the river out back at her house, she asked me about, some specific things, a specific area. She gave me a name of something, and she just said, what do you pick up on? And I told her, and it was just, I didn't expect that I would be able to pick up what I did.
That's great.
But I did. And she's, she's so humble. She's one of those people that doesn't realize how amazing she is and what an impact she's made on people's lives. Because had I not met her, and had she not told me, about my imbalances not being spiritual, them being, or not being, chemical and in my body physically, just spiritually, I might not have made that connection. That was something important. And that's something I'm realizing, is that there is a lot of people, I don't want to say misdiagnosed, okay? Because sometimes people are depressed. They do have anxiety. They do have bipolar disorder. They are sick. They do need medications. So this is not to say, stop taking your medications because April stopped taking her medications and, just everything came flooding in. Don't do that. That's not safe. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Discuss things with your doctor. Do things in a safe manner, because I actually did. I had to go through electroshock therapy, essentially. It's called electroconvulsive therapy now. That's what they call it. I guess, I don't know. It sounds less barbaric or something. I don't know. But now it's called electroconvulsive therapy. They put you to sleep while it happens. They give your brain a seizure, right? Mm-hmm. And essentially, they told me, the way they explained it to me, they said it's like when you reboot your computer or your phone when it's not acting right. You reboot it, and it just gets everything kind of restarted. Okay. And I was to the point where I had been on so many medications, like I was done. And so I finally did that. And that was right before I had met Stephanie. It was like, she was the one that told me, you're on medications that shouldn't be, and that's when I was like, okay, time to be done. This needs to just not be. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, I had the electroshock therapy done thinking I would come directly off of all the medications. They wanted to do a quite lengthy wean off of these medications. And we ended up going faster, you know what I mean? Because I felt confident with it, and it worked for me, by the blessings and grace of God, it worked for me, and I'm thankful. But it was weird because when I was having the treatments done, they were twice a week, for 6 weeks. And you're right, Dana, certain medications can dim your abilities. And I believe that is what was happening for years and years and years of my life. I think at one point I was just, like a zombie, it was like, I wasn't sad anymore, but I wasn't happy either. I just wasn't feeling much of anything. So yeah, if you physically, aren't feeling much of anything, I can't imagine how much that restrains your spiritual connection and stuff. That's, so that's very true, so it's, that's something to think of. I feel like if you're a person who's on a lot of different medications, think about meditation, think about Reiki healing and stuff like that. See if it doesn't do something for your life. Because while I was in doing the electroshock therapy, there was 2 times that they put me to sleep and my body just had a seizure on its own. And the first time they just kind of chalked it up to, it was just a fluke thing from the anesthesia or something, even though they'd already done it a few times. They kind of chalked it up to not being too big of a deal. But after the second time, which was the exact following time, it wasn't the same week, it was a different week. I had done it on, I think it was Tuesdays and it was Mondays and Thursdays. So then I did it on a Thursday and they put me under and I had a seizure on my own without them inducing it. And then when they put me to sleep then on Tuesday for the treatment, I had another seizure again without them inducing it. And that time I actually woke up and the neurologist and everything was there because, that point, that's 2 times now. And the doctor said that's never happened. He doesn't understand why. They looked at the scans and whatnot, and it wasn't even really showing that there was much happened. So he was completely dumbfounded as to what happened. He has no idea, but we continued to finish out the treatments. I ended up getting weaned off the medications, and between that and working with staff and just really kind of just like getting back to myself, you know what I mean? Because I was on so many medications for so long. It took my body so long to normalize, just coming off of them. It took my body months to be like used to not having that stuff in it. I lost a crazy amount of weight. I mean, to the point where people were like asking me, like, if I'm dieting, am I doing it on purpose? No, I was just on medications that cause stuff like that, side effect, and now I'm not on them. And it was just like a complete and total change. And everybody saw it because I didn't just go off like 6 medications that I was on a day, not 6 pills. I'm talking like 6 different prescription medications I was prescribed. I went off those.
A lot.
Yes, it was a lot. It was a lot, Craig. It was a lot. It's like I said, it's not something I'm proud of, It's a little embarrassing, but I didn't know, I was putting my faith in the doctors and thought they know what's best. They're going to help me. But they didn't know. And that's okay. It's okay because people don't understand this, So it's like, I can't expect them to think, oh, she's, having a spiritual awakening when they don't understand that. And logically, they don't believe in that stuff. And to them, it's not, that's not something that happens, because a lot of doctors are so into the scientific mode of everything that they don't see that aspect of the human soul. You know what I mean? The human body. They see the physical, but they don't see the soul, and that's where the problems lie a lot of times for a lot of people that struggle with mental health. It is not because there's something physically wrong with you, but sometimes it's because spiritually your chakras are out of line. Stuff's not flowing right. You're not grounded. And you have abilities that you're unaware of and you don't know how to control them. Because shortly before my 30th birthday, I just started seeing spots. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. You know, like
Oh yeah.
like what is going on? Like of course I'm on WebMD. Like, why am I seeing spots? Don't do that. Don't ever. God, please don't do that. Don't
I
ever
know.
go to WebMD, because I'll tell you right now, you're dying. If you go to
Yeah.
WebMD, you're dying.
You've got some hemorrhagic fever. Yeah. Something.
Cancer,
Yeah.
dying. It's something that people haven't heard of for 200 years, but you've got it. And
My
you
ear
know,
hurts
so
next time. Yeah. My ear hurts next time next thing you know, you're calling all the family. I've got foot cancer.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
what I'm saying. Like, don't go to WebMD. It's not good. It's not good, because I put that in and it was horrible. Like, I had myself really like in my head, like, oh man, this is bad. Like, should I be like calling somebody like for my last rites or something? Like, I'm like scared. But I ended up going back in for a med adjustment. Okay. And when I was in there, it was odd. When I went to the psychiatric facility for the medication adjustment, because in my area, unfortunately, if you just call and say, hey, my meds aren't working, they'll be like, okay, we'll see you in 6 weeks. Can't wait 6 weeks when you have a baby to take care of, and you can barely pull yourself out of bed, and your anxiety has you feeling like I went to the hospital a few times over anxiety. I didn't know it was anxiety, but that's what it was, or that's what they said it was. You know what I mean? Like, that's scary. That like
Oh yeah.
real anxiety, you feel like you're dying. Like, that is no joke. Like, it's not just I'm scared, I'm nervous. It is serious stuff, you know? So like, it was like embarrassing, but I went back in for another med adjustment, and I noticed that I'd been seeing the orb. No, I didn't know there were orbs at the time, but I'd been seeing the spots and whatnot. But when I got to the psych facility, I saw so many more. Like, it was like insane almost. It was like 1,000 times the amount. I'm like, wow, like, what's going on, you know? And of course, that's when I told them, like, I see spots, and they did a scan, and there was nothing physically causing that. And it was that same day that I was laying in my bed at night, and I had said my prayers, and I was going to bed, and I looked up at the wall, and there was this black mist in the corner, and it's just forming, and it like kind of like forms into something solid. Solid enough that I couldn't see through it anymore. It was no longer see-through, and it was blacker than any black I'd ever seen in my life. Okay. And at that point, like, I was laying in the bed, like, like blink my eyes, like rubbing my eyes, like, am I seeing this? Am I seeing this? And at that point, I sat up in the bed and I looked up at it. And even though it didn't have a face or anything of the sort, it was like I knew that thing looked at me. It saw that I saw it, because it flew across the room and then under my bed. And I grabbed my sweater. I ran up to the nurse's station. Now, mind you, I'm already in a freaking psychiatric facility. Going to tell them that I see something. I see a monster in my room.
There's a monster under my bed.
Right.
Yeah.
They're moving you to a different side of the room, or a different part of the hall.
I know. I'm just like, the whole way up the hall, I'm just like, this is bad. This is so bad. Like, but I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not going back in there. Like I don't know what to do. So I told them, and they're like, so there's somebody in your room? I said, no, there's like something. They went back in and checked my room like I was a child, looking under my bed, in the bathroom, like under the garbage can. Like, come on, now you're just insulting me. Like, come on. Like, I went to bed the next day. I actually had the freaking chaplain of the hospital come in and bless my damn room, because I didn't feel comfortable. And of course, as soon as I asked him if he believed in spirits, no, he didn't. And immediately, bless this child and her, cure her of her illness. And I'm like, I wanted you to bless the room, not me, but I'll take it. But come on now, like really? Like it was so offensive, but it was like at the same time, I'm like, I get it. Like I get it. Like
Comes in with a bottle with the, that has the, gift shop from the Vatican seal on it, rips it off.
Right. And I'm just like,
Yeah, it's blessed.
oh man, like this is something else. Like, so while I'm talking with one of the techs, because I was, not to sound mean or anything, but I was, one of the fairly like normal ones. I was only in there for like anxiety and depression stuff. I'm not in there because I'm crazy, like crazy off the wall, like, so I'm talking with the techs and whatnot. And I told the one girl what happened. And she said, which room are you in again? Out of curiosity. And I pointed to it because it was right where we were sitting. And she was just kind of like, oh. And with that look on her face, I was like, what was that? What was that? She was like, oh, nothing. I was just curious. I was like, oh, no, you can't make that face. Yeah. Like you can't make that face and then tell me nothing. Like, oh, nothing. So she left it slip that not only have patients like reported stuff in that room, but so did staff, cleaning ladies, maintenance people, like multiple people had reported seeing stuff in that same room. So then I'm just like, okay, I'm not crazy. I know this 1,000%, like, because I knew it was weird that they weren't kind of like acting odd about it. They were just kind of like, it's okay, it'll be all right, go back to bed. But they didn't like bring it up. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, so I heard, you had something happen last night or anything weird like that. But, it was like, okay, so I know for sure the room's friggin' haunted because like even staff, that's quote unquote not crazy, has seen stuff go in and out of the room, has gone to check the room, nothing, so.
They said anything like from there? Did you feel any negativity between it? Like, I mean, like actual evil, or was this something more?
Oh, for sure. I felt some negativity from that because that night that I found out from the tech that there was something negative, or not something negative, but there was definitely something in there because so many other people have said about it. I was going to bed saying my prayers like I always do. But this time I'm like in tears because I'm in a psych facility. I'm terrified now because I know that this place is 1,000% haunted. I 1,000% saw something dark. It saw me. It knows I saw it. Like I had the preacher come in here who basically did next to nothing. You know what I mean? And I was just like, now I got to go to bed with this thing that's probably pissed off at me. That's all I could think. So I'm praying and I'm crying and I'm sobbing and I'm asking for protection and for God to send, Archangel Michael in, to defend me in battle against things I can't defend myself against. And at that very time, like it was odd. It was like I felt, the only way to explain it is almost like a blanket. Somebody like wrapped something around me, like comforting me, right? And I felt this warm, comforting feeling. And I looked over my shoulder, and the only way to describe it, it was like white. It was like the sparklers that we get for the 4th of July, right? And it's got like the little white sparks that fling off everywhere. That's what I was seeing. Those little white sparks, but they weren't coming from a source. They were just everywhere. And when I saw that in a pitch black room to boot, you know what I mean? My lights were off. It wasn't pitch black. The bathroom light was on. And I had the door open like I was a 5-year-old child going to bed terrified because I was scared. I was scared. But when I saw those white lights, it was like I just knew that's not. As soon as I said that, I looked up. It's 44 minutes and 44 seconds. It said, I knew that is not just a normal energy. That is angelic. That is something divine protecting. My mentor has said herself also that she does feel that my connections are divine connections. They don't just come from straight from source, or not straight from source, but they don't just come from ancestors and spirits and loved ones. They come from, you good, Craig?
Don't worry, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make
Okay,
it.
I was like, should we keep talking?
Your
Like,
story is so.
It was
You
one of
got
those. Don't worry about the
I'm just
host. He's got. What happened to the host? Oh, he died.
I don't know what to do now. Like, I'm
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
No, keep.
oh
That's
my
why.
gosh, where did I let off?
He's not important. Fuck that guy.
I was
know.
telling you guys something. Where did I let off?
You were just finishing with the angelic.
Yes, it was like I knew, like that is not just a loved one. Like that is something divine. And my mentor has said to me, just some of the knowledge that I know, that I have known, that I've come across. She has been told that my answers don't just come from my higher self. They don't just come from ancestors and our loved ones and spirits that are passing through. They actually do come from divine sources. Divine being of the light, not human. Okay. Angelic, right? Goddess energy. Gods and goddesses are also divine creatures. Okay. For those of you wondering, because I know some people do. Hey, Chassie. Love you, baby. For those of you wondering, because I know some do, I pray to the same God that everybody does. When I go to bed at night, I say my prayers. I say my prayers essentially the same way as I always have. Only this time, I actually, not this time, but now in this phase of my life, I recognize that we don't have, I don't believe that we have a single parent. I don't think that we have a single dad. I think we do have a mother. I know. We have a mother too. It's a different energy. I'm very close with her. That's your quote unquote mother nature, mother earth. That is that energy. And that is the energy that I'm probably most closely linked to, if I'm being honest. Did I drop glasses? I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. No, just.
Does anybody have any questions about anything?
Well, it's one of those kind of roll back to a little bit. Just they wanted to tell it. It's the same way. You don't need to be embarrassed about that story. I mean, if anything, it is a story. That's one of the reasons why I want you to talk about it, because it was so important. This stigma that if you have mental health, you are an outcast. You are not a functional part of society. We need to embrace this thing and actually help people. And it's kind of like you said, there needs to be another layer to this, because Western medicine is Pfizer, AstraZeneca, whoever it is has come up with this latest, greatest thing that's going to make you feel better.
Yes.
Take this little yellow pill and you're going to feel happy tomorrow.
And what effects are you going to have from that, though?
Yeah. And whereas, like yourself, if you would actually have somebody with more of, we'll say, per se, the Eastern style medicine.
Yes.
You may have had a whole different, and quicker, turnaround.
Absolutely. Yeah. I give credit where it is due. Steph is not a card reader. So she was not the one who taught me to do that. That is self-taught. But she did teach me to shield myself. She did teach me to trust what information I'm being given with or without the cards. Because I don't know how. It's weird. It's like people will say, how'd you do it? I can't say exactly how. I'll pull a card that's talking about one thing, but then they tell me about something else, and it goes together. Might not make sense to me, but it makes sense to the people that I'm reading for, and that's what matters. I feel like if you have gone to a card reader and you left with more questions than answers, or you don't feel like you don't feel changed, like they changed your perspective on things a little bit, opened your mind a little bit to the possibility that there can be something greater out there working through people like me and others to help society, you know, then I'm sorry, but you've gone to the wrong person. You've got ripped off, you know, and I can't apologize for that enough. I feel like there's too many damn people in this world. I'm sorry. It gets me like, like gets me upset, but to the point where I like want to cry because it's so irritating. You know, TikTok, witchcraft is trending. It's okay to be proud, but to film every single thing you do, there's supposed to be a little bit of, you know, discrepancy and a little bit of, you know, privacy with the things that you do. So to throw it all out there, that does make you wonder if it's a money thing, if it's just for the money, or if they actually do any of the things that they say they do. Or did they just set it up and take a picture and a video real quick?
Yeah, I think it's part of it too, you know, because I mean, just a lot of people will take, you know, I have a beeswax candle, I have crystals, set the whole thing up, you know, read the incantation. Well, they don't really think about it, you know, like what they're doing.
Right. And that's the thing. And you're right with that, Craig, is, you know, you can read it. It's perfect. You know, you can read it in freaking Latin, freaking backwards. It's not going to make a difference. If your intentions are not pure, your intentions are not there 1,000%, it's not going to work. Because the bottom line is, and my mentor, who doesn't even really do this kind of stuff, you know, like spell work and whatnot, she was the one that told me, you know, you realize you don't need all of those crystals and the stuff like that, right? And like at first I was like, well, yeah, but this helps with this and this. And she explained to me, we are essentially the main tool. So yes, we can buy spell books, we can say everything right, we can do everything by the book, but if our intentions are not pure, our heart's not in it, and we do not have faith that this is going to work, I wouldn't expect it to work. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a certain level of confidence to do these things, and there's a fine line between confidence and ego, right? You guys know this, just having a podcast and stuff, it's easy for stuff to go to your head when we get some attention, but it's important to remain humble and speak in ways that others can understand, and not speak to people like they're less intelligent than you are when you have to explain something to them. That's not right. You know, that's somebody comes to you for a reading for the first time, you should be very, very open to explaining to them all the ways they work, that these cards are just tools with words on them, you know, that will give me a lead of which way I'm going with this. And then my intuition and my abilities picks up the rest. You know, it will fill in the blanks. Does that make sense?
Yep. I had an amazing one-liner and I realized I was muted myself.
Oh my God.
When you're talking about, you know, ego, you know, talking about being egotist, you know, ego and thing, I'm like, I can't tell you how many times I have to talk Austin down out of the clouds. He's just over there, just rah, rah. And I was doing all that, and I'm like, I lost it because I was muted. And I'm like, yeah, no,
what are you talking about?
I know it's a joke. Like I said, you know, it's the running joke. We always throw you in there.
Not Austin. He's good.
Oh, I know exactly. That's what makes it funny, is because he's the least likely to have been the culprit.
To his leg and mine, keep our energies grounded. I struggle to keep my energies grounded. That's something a lot of people do. I encourage everybody that watches this, please look into meditation for beginners. look into grounding your energies. See if that doesn't change your life, because I tell you what, when you start, it feels like there's no going back. Like it was like I started meditating, and now if I don't meditate, I know, I can feel it. I know something doesn't sit right. I'm not feeling right. I'm a little on edge. I know I need to meditate. So it's time to ground, time to meditate.
I have a worse time of getting myself to set time aside for meditation. I should do it more.
Fishing more. You gotta go fishing more, I'm telling you.
And I think I don't want to call it an excuse, because people have lives. Like a lot of people genuinely don't have the damn time. I used that as a crutch for a long time. I don't have the time. My kids are too loud or whatnot. Now I can meditate, and it doesn't matter if my child yells up the step to me. I can answer him and go right back into it. With practice, you get better at it. You're able to kind of block those distractions and whatnot. And it doesn't have to be long. The beginner meditations a lot of times are like 5 to 10 minutes. That 5 to 10 minutes might just change the whole vibe of your day. You'd be amazed at what it does.
You can meditate anywhere. I mean, it's never an excuse. Like you gotta watch your TV show. That TV show will always be there. You can rewatch it the next day. You're never gonna have that time back to meditate or just relax. I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I think it might have been Chastity that posted it. It was a meme, and I tell you what, it was on point. It said, procrastination is, now don't quote me on this, it said something like, procrastination is the like assumption that God will give you time tomorrow to do what you already had time to do today. And it was like, yes, you're right. Like, how do we know we'll have time to do it later? Why not do it now? Start right now. I'm going to try to meditate tomorrow first time. I'm going to go outside my yard or wherever you prefer, comfy space. It's easy to do. It's quick. It's simple. Once you get the hang of it, and it's life-changing. And I think a lot of people that struggle with anxiety and stuff, this is very beneficial, because I still struggle with anxiety. I won't lie. And it's not like everything just went perfectly back to 1,000% after the electroshock therapy, electroconvulsive therapy and whatnot. But things got better. Like, I'm now doing my cards and giving other people advice when, 5 years ago, I didn't know which direction I was going in. I was so lost myself, just my soul was lost. It took one person telling me, your imbalances are not physical, they're not chemical, it's not in your head, you're not crazy. Like, you're essentially being a guinea pig for all these medications that you don't need to be on, because this is just a spiritual imbalance and this can be fixed.
Yep.
I cried. It was like, I cried because I knew like, she's going to help me. And she did. She delivered. She always does. She's amazing. And because of what she's done for me, I'm now able to help other people. It's a beautiful cycle. Bless me, right?
And it's one of those, I don't know if it was meant to be type thing, because that just popped in my head, the turning struggles into blessings for the title.
Yes.
I
love that title. My mom asked me about that. She said, whose idea was it? Who put that together? I said, that was Craig, I believe. I said, and I saw that and I cried. Like, because I didn't see my life as that, until Craig said, you should tell your story on the show. That could help some people. And it was like,
Like, I was scared to even like advertise this like on my page, because it's like, well, now everybody's gonna know that like April was like kind of crazy there for a while, or crazy. But I wasn't, like, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. And I want other people to know this too. You know, get the help if you need the help. There's no shame in it. But also, don't just rely on Western medication and you know, take this pill. This pill will help you with this. This pill will help you get motivated, and this pill will keep your anxiety down when you're too motivated. And then this pill will help you fall asleep at night. And then this pill will help you stay asleep during the night. That's not healthy. That's not
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not for everybody.
meditate, ground your chakras, get yourself aligned, see if that doesn't change your life.
I had an issue one time where I think I took anxiety pills for some reason. Anxiety and antidepressants, I couldn't remember. And one of my relatives went to the hospital, almost died. So that night I found out, I got angry. I walked down to the gas station, grabbed a 4-pack of, I think it was Mike's Hard Lemonade, walked down to the
I've
ramp,
heard some scary stories.
Yeah, I walked down to the boat ramp, just chugging beers illegally. I'm not supposed to drink in public. So I walked back up to I'm just, at this point, I took my knife out. I'm just flicking it in the middle of the road. Like, my neighbors are probably freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
I walked back in the house. I got in the shower. I'm just bawling because it's a close relative. I'm just bawling and bawling. And what made me realize that something was wrong with me, because I was bawling and bawling, instantly it was like a switch. I stopped crying. I'm like, good, let's go. And I was like, that was weird. I don't act like that. So I immediately took the pills, down the toilet, and flushed them. I was like, something's wrong.
those pills are no joke, and
I wasn't a fan of them, but the relatives
flush them down the toilet. Now some poor alligators going through the same issues.
But
it's over there bawling over the fish it missed.
Before anybody flushes medications down the toilet, do talk with your doctor first. Like, be safe about it, because sometimes coming off of those medications too abruptly can actually give you some pretty bad side effects and scary side effects.
I never, my dad passed away in 2010. I was young,
I know,
but it was like, I'm a kid, I'll get over it. And then they were like, well, you should try it, try it. And I was like, you know what, I will try it, because you tell me. And I was like, no, I don't know why I listened to you. I wasn't a fan of it, and I stopped.
That's one of those things that you only make that mistake once. I was prescribed medication before I actually was hospitalized for my first round of postpartum depression. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and I took one of them, and it didn't help my anxiety. And he was like, oh, that's the super low dose. He's like, take a couple more of those, like, you'll be good. I woke up the next morning in the bed. I didn't remember anything. Never again. I was like, nope. Like, this is scary. This is not safe. No.
It's the same thing with, like, I had 2 surgeries recently, and they gave me hydrocodone and oxycodone, whatever it was. Yes. And I didn't want to take it because I didn't want to be addicted to it. I know it's whatever, but I was like, if I'm in pain, I'll take it. But I'm not going to take it like they tell me every 6 hours, because if I'm not in pain, I don't need it.
That's they say to prevent it. But I agree. I think when you're not used to stuff like that, though, when you are in the pain and you take the medication, then it works. You know what I mean?
See, isn't that amazing how fast an hour goes?
It is. I was so stressed out about this. I knew cards told me that there would be some tears, but I was also told that I was supposed to let that happen, because people hurt. It's hard. Life is hard. Just because I'm spiritual doesn't mean I have rainbows shooting out my arse 24/7, right? Like, I know we still struggle. We still have anxiety. We still get upset and angry, and there's 2 sides to everything, and there's balance, So I hope anybody that struggles with anxiety and stuff, maybe this can help them a little more perspective, a different perspective, that doctors don't give you around here. So.
Yeah, no, that's kind of the crux of it. That's why I wanted you on here, because you had something to say, something that people needed to hear, and it was. I mean, this is everything that I hoped it would be from the conversation. And it was great.
If I'm being honest, Greg, I think I needed to get out. I think I needed to get this off my chest as much as maybe other people needed to hear it too. Because I think there's a lot of people that don't understand, they're like, when did she get in? It's always been like this. I was a quiet person. I kept stuff to myself for reasons you can see, there was times in my life where I didn't want to share stuff with people. So there's always more going on behind the scenes with everything, with everybody, and just because they struggle with anxiety doesn't mean there's something wrong with them in the head. Sometimes they're empaths, or they have abilities and they feel other people. That's a struggle too. It's a blessing and a curse. It truly is.
Yep. It's a struggle that you've turned into a blessing.
It is. It is.
It really is. I mean, that's what I said, and that's what's cool. And so for everybody that doesn't know already, how do they go about finding you so that way they can get your help with these type of things as well?
So I have a page, Naturally April, on Facebook. It is, like I said, I do, I make custom jewelry and stuff with crystals. None of it's dyed or anything like that, so you don't got to worry about fading. I will help you figure out what stones are best for you, which ones will help with energies that you might need help with. But you can also get readings. You can, ask me any advice, really. I'm down to talk for just about anything. You're learning, you're starting, you're a veteran. It doesn't matter. I will talk with you. I love to see other people's opinions. I love to hear what they have to say. I learn something new every day myself, so if you go to Naturally April on Facebook, I will put a link. I can go ahead and put a link in this when we're done, that people can maybe go to. If it lets me, I don't know if it'll let me, but I'll try. If not, I think I said hi earlier, so I'm in there. Go to my profile page. It's right there on the front. Click on it. Go there. You can watch my lives when I go live for, some free advice. Pop in, ask a question. Let's see what we got for you. Talk to me, right?
Yep, exactly. Nice. I'm bringing it up right now as we speak to.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Cass got it for me.
Yeah, we're doing that. So
she got me.
Yep. But yeah, so that's, so everybody is like, when you're watching there, I mean, you get some really good, readings. You get a good laugh when the troll, every now and then when a troll pops up and everybody turns on the troll and tears them up. That's always fun.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
I like that.
You got abilities, go ahead and go to your page and do that. Don't come on my stuff. That's weird.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those. Yeah. It's kind of the type of thing where it's like, why are you doing that? And then for some reason they want to, and it's like I
worry more so that they'll tell people, oh, you've got something dark with you, and the reading's free. I'll give you a free reading, and you've got something dark with you, but I need this, and this to get it off of you, and then you'll live a good life. Then all of a sudden it's not a free reading. Now all of a sudden you're fearing for your life, thinking you've got something dark attached to you because this reader did say something that resonated, and now they're telling you you've got something dark. I don't want that to happen, so,
Links in the chat.
That's what I'm most worried about with people like that, is them trying to, troll you that way, and it's not sincere. I feel like if they have abilities, they'll be doing that on their page the way I do it on mine, not coming in on somebody else's. Thank you so much, Mr. Spillner. I appreciate that. I just feel like they wouldn't be coming in on somebody else's page if they had those abilities and could do that themselves, so be careful with people like that. If you ever are watching live streams of people doing cards and somebody else is offering advice, please don't do that. Please don't. They will. I promise you. I promise you.
I'm drawn to you. DM me.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. It will be the worst thing. You will think that your life is falling apart, and when in all reality, everything's perfectly fine. So please don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your energy. Don't disrespect your soul like that, because you will be so sad when, you know, you're free reading. All of a sudden now you're fearing for your life, thinking they're the only person that can break my family curse that nobody else knew about. And oh my God, what am I going to do? Don't contact them. That's what you're going to not do. Like, don't contact them. Maybe call April. I don't know. Right?
That's right. And then, so April,
hit me up. Let me help you.
And your tagline is, blessed be.
What's my tagline? Talk to me.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what you always say. Yeah, blessed be. Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah, that's what.
Heads up.
I said, so everybody.
Be.
Yeah, blessed be. So, well, everybody, like I said, unfortunately, we have come to that time where we must end.
111. Exactly.
Yes. I know.
That's right?
Yep.
Number for new beginnings.
Let's say we'll give it here in about 3 seconds. Then it'll be even more perfect.
Yeah,
See, right there, and there it is. See, there we go.
All got it.
All right. So April, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Well, obviously we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much for the support. Love you all.
All right, everybody. This episode was brought to you by Nanny Cakes, Nancy Burke. Check her out at NannyCakes407 on Facebook, or give her a phone call if I can remember it at 407-923-2898. I think I did it.
Yes.
Check us out on social media. We are everywhere, anywhere, slightly on TikTok. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but we've bearded guys are on this weird social media TikTok thing. Yeah, YouTube, everybody. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because life changes after that. So everybody go to YouTube, subscribe, please. We would greatly appreciate it. Obviously, you need to go to Naturally April. I put the link into the comments there. So you just click it.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you just click that. It's going to take you right there. Everybody, we opened up a new merchandise store at redbubble.com. Go to Three Beards Podcast.
Sir. I'll be getting a shirt.
You can get a shirt. Get a shirt and some other cool gear from us and support us. We absolutely appreciate it. Helps keep the lights on. Yeah, but it helps. It helps pay for some of the bills for these.
Yep, we're already talking about getting shirts.
Awesome, so. We appreciate that. And then we've got everybody go to Zeno Radio app, download that. Go to Patriot Radio. They rebroadcast us every Thursday night at 10 p.m. courtesy of J&J Beard Company out of New Jersey. Go to jjbeardco.com and thank them for doing that for you. Everybody, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. We will see you in the next show.